What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Podium Pushers podcast with Justin and Brandon. We had a week with no Formula One, so it feels like it has been too long since we have seen cars on track, since we have talked to you about this lovely sport, and since I've gotten to sit down with Brandon and make fun of his predictions. So today, we are predicting the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm feeling great about the predictions that I'm bringing to the table. Brandon, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great as well. I'm just excited for the race in Austria. Excited to extend my championship lead in the predictions battle. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm pumped.
Yeah, I don't know if I should say that I'm going to make fun of your predictions because you're currently beating me 27-22. That 5 point lead is feeling pretty massive to me. You know, we've still got a lot of races left in the year, but time is dwindling down for me to repeat as predictions champion. So I've really got to step it up. Luckily for me, we have got banger after banger after banger race coming up, which means I'm coming with some good predictions. Are you ready to jump into our predictions for the Austrian Grand Prix?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, then let's get it started. Who is your podium pusher of the weekend for the Austrian Grand Prix?
My podium push for the weekend, I'm going with Nico Hulkenberg. He's had a great season so far, and I expect him to continue to do that. Yeah, this is kind of a vibes prediction, but I didn't want to pick somebody who has been at the front of the field. And if you're asking me, I think Nico's poised to have a good weekend.
Hey, well, after that P5 in Spain, I mean, he's at the front of the field. What else can you say? Seeing him at the premiere of the F1 movie, that man had all the vibes. So I think that's a great vibes prediction this weekend. I've gone with someone who does spend a lot of time at the front of the field, but just spent some time in the side of the wall. I went with Lando Norris as my podium pusher of the weekend. He had a pretty tough weekend in Canada, qualifying lower than he wanted, and obviously driving into the back of his teammate. But I think he's going to rebound this weekend in Austria. I think, when we have these weeks off and Lando gets to have these resets, I think he tends to have his best races when he can come mentally fresh into a weekend. I think he's going to bounce back. But I also think Austria is a really good track for him. It's one of those tracks where even when the McLaren hasn't been there, he's been competing for podiums. He got one here in 2020. He got one here last year when the McLaren first turned around in 2023. He got one. He did not get one here last year after that incident on track, but 2023 he did get one. So I'm expecting a good weekend from Lando Norris here. I think he is going to bounce back and be my podium pusher of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, before all the drama that happened in Austria last year, Lando was definitely on track for a podium, potentially a race win here as well, but it obviously did not work out. George Russell ended up winning the race, and he got mad at Toto, and lots of stuff happened in Austria 2024, but it was a great race.
Yeah, because all that happened in 2024, it has no bearing on what will happen this year in 2025. I'm going to get this point for Lando Norris. I'm feeling it. Who is your back marker of the weekend for the Austrian Grand Prix?
My back mark of the weekend, I've gone with Esteban Ocon. Esteban has had a pretty good season for Haas, kind of depending on how you look at it, but the car really hasn't been as fast as people have predicted. But Esteban has been able to get the most out of it. He is pretty handily beating Ollie Behrman, his teammate. All that to say, I don't think Esteban's going to have a good weekend this weekend, and it's kind of also a vibes prediction, but I think he's not going to perform very well.
Esteban Ocon's season feels like it has been he either finishes P7 or he qualifies like 20th and scores no points. So you just have to hope that this is one of those poor qualifying no point weekends and the point is pretty much yours. So it's like a 50-50 chance if you actually get that point or not. I've gone with Franco Colapinto. Yes, last time out he probably did have his best weekend since returning to the sport. But this one is fully vibes. I just am not expecting two good weekends in a row from him. And the Alpine, it might just be the worst car on the grid right now. Even Pierre Gasly has been having some pretty poor weekends in that car. So I don't trust the car itself to be good. I don't trust Franco to now be consistently beating Pierre Gasly. So I think I'm feeling pretty good about putting Franco Colapinto as my back marker this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good pick. Franco has been, I mean, now we have a decent sample size of him as a driver in Formula One. He's been pretty up and down, honestly. He's either on it or he's in the wall, which is what it seems like. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Alpine is not giving him a great car to compete with, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's not super surprising that Alpine is kind of fallen off because it is just a repurposed version of last year's chassis. So maybe they're cooking up something strong for 2026. Who knows? I'm not expecting it, but maybe, maybe. Who do you think is qualifying on pole this weekend in Austria?
On pole, man, this was tough. Pole and the podium was really tough for me. I'm going with Oscar. I think Oscar, I've said this every single predictions podcast, but Oscar has been a great driver this season. And I think this will be a track that suits the McLaren well. Um, and I think he will get pole.
I need to go back and see how many weekends in a row you've predicted Oscar Piastri on pole because we have got to be, it feels like at least over five. I feel like we got to be like 6 or 7 weekends into this thing. Brandon's still predicting Oscar Piastri on pole, but it's a fair prediction because he has stepped it up in qualifying this year and has delivered some pole positions. I have gone with Oscar Piastri's teammate Lando Norris on pole, putting all of my eggs in the Lando Norris basket for this weekend. As I have said previously, this is one of Lando Norris's best tracks. I still think on his day, he is the better qualifier than Oscar Piastri. So I think Lando Norris is going to take pole this weekend, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean the only question we have to ask is how often does Lando's day come? You know, on his day he is the better qualifier, but how often do we get to see that day?
Hey, you know what they say, a broken clock is right twice a day, and I'm not saying that Lando Norris is broken, but I am saying the day has to come eventually, and I think it's coming this weekend. But I think the real question is how bad I don't want to say how bad the McLaren is, but last weekend we saw the first time that the McLaren wasn't inevitable, and so we've gotten into this rhythm of predicting the McLarens on pole, and we have done that again. Each of us have picked one of the McLaren drivers, but if that car shows up like it did in Canada and the Mercedes are up there and Max can challenge for pole, it could be after free practice one that I'm immediately feeling less confident about this prediction.
Yeah, I mean, it was so interesting to watch the race in Canada because the race place in McLaren wasn't just inevitable, like you said. I mean, they seemed like they were human for the first time this season. So I don't know.
Yeah, but the conditions won't be as cold. It will be warmer here this weekend. We are returning to more of a normal-ish track. So we will see if it was just a one-off in Canada or if McLarens have started to slowly fall back into the field and we might have a multi-team title fight somehow, even though we didn't think it was going to happen. Who do you think is taking P3 this weekend in Austria?
I'm gonna change it up from what I wrote down, but I'm going with George Russell, P3. Maybe it was just the last couple sentences of talking about Mercedes that is swaying my decision, but I think George is going to finish P3.
I was pretty surprised already by your podium when I saw it, and so for you to do this, I'm just fully messed up on your side of the predictions sheet, so I can't wait to see what else you say for P2 and P1. In third place, I've gone with Oscar Piastri. You said it already that he has been one of the best drivers, if not the best driver of this season. And so even if the McLaren is falling back into the field or some of the other teams are catching up or Mercedes at the front, it is just incredibly difficult for me to leave Oscar Piastri off the podium. So I haven't, and I put him in third place.
Yeah, that's why I put Oscar in second place. I think he's going to get pole, but I don't know. Yeah, Oscar and P2. That's all I'll say about it.
I cannot wait to
All
see who you have put in first place. I know the two drivers you're going to have to pick between, and I cannot wait to see who you put as a winner and who you leave off the podium. I cannot wait to see that. I put Lando Norris in second place. It's the classic Lando Norris pole to second trope. It is what it is now. Who knows? Maybe he'll break it this weekend. I do not think he will. I think he's going to lose that pole position and end up in second place this weekend.
Here we go. P1. I'm going with Lando Norris. P1. I
Oh,
think Lando's going to win the race. It does mean that I am leaving Max Verstappen off the podium as well as 16 other drivers. So, yeah, that was a tough decision. But I do think that Mercedes is more consistent than Red Bull is right now. So we'll see. I
yeah, I
don't.
mean, I
I
agree
don't.
that Mercedes is more consistent than Red Bull, but are they more consistent than Max Verstappen? That's the real question. Without Max, Red Bull's in last place in the constructor, so it doesn't matter if the Red Bull's fast or not. Max is going to somehow drag every last drop out of that car, and that's why I put him in first place because I do think Max Verstappen is going to win the Austrian Grand Prix. I truly think that Max Verstappen is going to continue to fight for wins for the rest of this season. I don't see a scenario where he is out of this title fight, even though he seems a little far out right now. I think this weekend we start the Max Verstappen comeback tour. He's got an incredible helmet. He's got home fans here. It's the Red Bull Ring. Max Verstappen will win this race.
That's crazy. You- Are you saying that Max Verstappen is back in the title fight?
Yes, I never said he was out of the title fight. Max Verstappen has been in the title fight this whole time. And yes, he's fighting by himself. Yes, that car is sometimes the third or fourth fastest car. But some weekends that car works. And even the weekends that it doesn't, Max Verstappen is going to fight and he's going to maximize the points 99% of the time. And so I think it would be foolish to say that Max Verstappen's out of the title fight.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I was just wanted to see what your reaction would be to that question.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely unbelievable. It's hot in
yeah.
this room. You're already pushing my buttons already. Unbelievable. What's your one pushing prediction for the Austrian Grand Prix?
My one pushing prediction is that just like last year, Max and Lando make contact at some point during the weekend. Could be in any of the practice sessions, could be in qualifying or during the race. Maybe that's how Max loses out on the podium. I don't know, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, if Max and Lando qualify second and third and then give each other a handshake when they get out of the car, I'm not counting it. That doesn't count as contact. It's got to happen on track. My one push and prediction is that at least three different midfield teams score points. This feels like an extremely bold push and prediction to me because if all of the top eight drivers score, then only two different teams could score points. And then you're also saying that you don't think a midfield team is going to double score and take up those predictions. So I'm feeling bold, but it feels possible. This is one of those tracks. It's a very short lap. Anything could happen. We have seen chaos happen here before, and so I'm gonna put it all out there. It seems like it'll suit Williams. I could see Haas performing well here. Maybe an Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso point score. They've been on the up, so it seems possible. I feel good about it, but it is also extremely bold.
Yeah, I mean that walks the line perfectly, but you do got to think Red Bull's second car might not be scoring. Um, and the Ferraris are a wild card as well. Kimi's been kind of up and down this season, more up than down, but you never know with him. So there's possibility.
Yeah, if there's one thing I know for sure, it is that nothing is guaranteed with Ferrari. Charles Leclerc finished P11 here last year, so anything could happen realistically. The fans at X Gaslight Fernando Alonso finishes on the podium at PVK underscore 96 underscore Max dominates in qualifying but gets beaten by the McLarens on Sunday. And at Lugood, Oscar, Max, and Lando finish first, second, and third. Those are some pretty good predictions. I'd love to see Fernando Alonso on the podium. I don't think that Aston Martin is good enough right now, but I'd love to see it. The other two definitely more realistic as well. So I think that is a great batch of predictions this week.
Yeah, I think the whole lineup of predictions that you and I have made, as well as the fans, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, let's just go flawless. One of us gets all our points, the fans get all their points. I think that would be an incredible weekend for sure. That is all we've got for our predictions at the Austrian Grand Prix. Before we get out of here, Brandon, what are your parting podium thoughts?
And I'm excited for Austria. You knew it was coming, and I said it, but it does feel like it's been a long time since you've seen Formula One cars on track, and Austria is a fantastic track, always provides good racing. We've seen a lot of drama here in the past, and there's no reason why 2025 Austria will not bring that as well. So bring it on.
We've got so many good tracks coming up. I don't want to look ahead too far. We've got Austria, and then we've got Great Britain, we've got Spa, we've got the Netherlands. There are so many incredible races coming up, so there's a lot to look forward to. But this weekend, we're looking forward to the Austrian Grand Prix. As always, thank you for watching or listening to the Podium Pushers podcast. It means so much that you let us talk to you about Formula One. It means the world. We love getting to do it. We will see you next week to not only react to the Austrian Grand Prix, but predict the British Grand Prix as well. We will see you then, but until then, have a great day and God bless.
See ya.